Oh, okay.
And
That was a dance hall?
dance hall, cat house, casino,
And where was that again?
right back there.
Well, I know, but just because I started up the camera again.
Well, right at the parish line, right at the beginning of River Road in Jefferson Parish.
Oh, okay.
And it was up until Prohibition ended, which was in 1932. It started in 1920. It was voted in. Women voted in. Gail was the first time the women voted, and they voted Prohibition in. So it was,
Yeah.
it was a strong. The feminist movement and the Prohibition movement were very linked together because there were so
Well,
many.
that continues even today, and I deal with that a lot at Metropolitan, where people have this misconception of thinking that alcohol causes the
Yeah.
abuse.
Yeah.
It does not.
Yeah.
It does not.
It might make it worse.
It might,
sometimes.
Yeah.
it might make it
Yeah.
worse, but no, it does not. And there are some people who even, that's really a common misconception, where they genuinely
it
believe.
makes abuse worse.
But they
Yeah.
genuinely believe that it causes it. I mean, they've actually heard them
She's
refer.
got a point, honey.
Yeah,
I
they actually believe that it causes it.
Uh-huh.
Talking about prohibition and alcohol, there was a story you told me once, Mom, where that and you were talking about things that were aggravating, and your dad said that I think he had some nickname for you, like
Oh yeah,
Oh, Carrie Nation.
Harry
Yeah.
Nation.
Yeah,
How did
she's a
that
famous
Prohibition.
prohibition?
Yeah.
How did that get started? How did that nickname come about?
Well, because I would go through the room, and my mother and my father and Uncle Hugh and Aunt Florence would be drunk as skunks.
This is
And,
true. I can attest to this.
And I'd say, booze. Or drinking again, I see.
And I could see Leslie
Yeah.
doing this, knowing
Yeah.
Leslie.
I was kind of irritating,
Honey,
aggravating.
you still do it about certain things. I mean,
Dan.
you get on your high horse.
Well,
You start
I mean,
saying those
I could-
horribly,
I could
you
think.
know,
Well, I could think as a child, Dad. I could
perverted
think.
sexual things, you know.
Well, what? I mean, I could
I'm
see.
being libeled here.
No,
I-
you're not.
Yes.
I could see how a child though would have that kind of reaction to all their parents having a habit, having this
Yeah.
habitual ritual
Yeah.
of getting drunk all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And Gail, it was
And it
really
smelled bad.
flaky.
I hated the smell of alcohol, and I could walk in the room and
Really?
it just flooded over
It was
you.
nice
Yeah.
for us up there.
And then they both smoked.
Yeah.
And,
Now, Mom, I have a question. You said that Ning Ning smoked and drank all through her pregnancies, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
She insists that she didn't, but I don't know.
I can't imagine John not smoking around her. I mean,
Well,
he was
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 packs a day. Plus, the
Yeah.
booze. I mean, that's a deadly combination.
Yeah, I
Not
know.
just-
It's
not
hard
just-
on kids.
I mean,
It's probably amazing we survived.
That's why she's got asthma. I mean, as far as I'm concerned,
Probably.
and allergies. But my parents smoked too. My parents smoked.
yeah.
too.
Your dad had his pipe.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
before that, it was Chesterfields, and he'd smoke those all the time.
That was just very typical of your parents' generation, I think.
I think so. There was a lot of drinking then, a lot of social drinking, I guess because a reaction from the Prohibition.
I think
Also New Orleans,
I think that's part of it, and all their friends drank a lot.
Yeah.
But I think they just liked to drink. I mean,
Well, yeah.
it wasn't. We'd have.
They'd be sitting there and
Yeah.
Aunt Florence would say, honey, could you get me a drinky poo?
Yeah, drinky poo. That's right. When they visited us in Illinois, we'd have to, I'd have to stock up and get a case of booze because I knew they were coming in for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it was real. And we're not. Gail, you should talk to Carlton about this. He's much more judgmental about it than we are. I mean, we were, I wasn't a teetotaler or anything.
Yeah, and with Dan, I'd have a drink too. He used to say I was one of the cheapest dates. He knew because I drank very little.
Yeah, I'm not, and I think I inherited, I just don't like, I drink alcohol with friends, but I genuinely am only drinking because they do. I don't like it that much. So whatever.
Well, I hate the smell of
Yeah,
alcohol.
are we close to your place
know.
of employment?
No. It's kind of close to that Jefferson feed store that Blaine was talking about.
I don't know where that is, so this
Yeah,
is not gonna help.
but it is a
Oh,
this is a
This is
confidential
where I got my ticket
location.
for speeding
So
on the levee, right along here.
yeah. Oh, really? Right along here?
Yeah.
Where that cop followed you on the levee?
On the levee.
Yeah. Oh, also, Dad, I just realized something. I have the camera going, and you were asking me about a confidential location that I really can't. So I can't.
I know,
don't.
that's why I said
don't-
place
don't-
of employment.
yeah,
I did not
yeah.
specify.
Well, okay, but okay, you didn't specify. That's good. But yeah,
I'm cool.
but don't ask about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know there were all these,
Yeah. No, it's actually it's not a big deal, but
kind of sounds like James Bond or something.
it kind of is.
This is
oh.
Universal Exports.
If you'd like an example of Dan's gross
Oh,
humor.
come on.
Well, Mom, I'd be more interested in your childhood.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I'm that. Yeah, no,
You know,
that's
she's
okay.
trying to get Worm
Well-
something demeaning about her.
Well, she probably knows about it anyway.
Yeah, I probably know about it anyway. Talk to me about Uncle Robin.
Uncle Robin. Actually, he was hanging out very much with Mike and Joey a lot, and I didn't, at a certain point, I didn't see him, and then he didn't even go to school. He basically they had trouble keeping him in a school.
He was the bad boy of the
Yeah,
family.
he'd cut school and he'd get expelled and stuff like that. And they tried him at a place called École Classique.
Oh, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, and he basically, bombed out of it.
It was at Trinity College in Texas. I think it's in San Antonio, I think.
I don't know if he didn't go to college.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I think he was only there like a couple of weeks. Yeah,
Well-
it was around the time we got married.
Yeah, it was
Well,
around where Zoe was.
He had to have gone to college though, because he has his degree in social work, right?
Yeah, he went back.
Yeah, he went.
Oh,
When he
okay.
was
I'm not
an
sure.
adult.
Okay.
Well, first of all, he got his landscaping degree, and he took some courses over in Japan to,
That's how he met Mitsuko.
Yeah.
basically.
Oh, and that's when he met Mitsuko.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's when he
Oh.
met
Yes.
Mitsuko.
It was on an educational
Yeah.
tour.
He
She taught him a few things.
he was a hippie, or he and Zoe
Yeah.
were hippies.
Yeah.
Zoe,
well,
Zoe used to wear an Indian type outfit with a headband and
Yeah.
feathers
Yeah.
and a buckskin coat with fringe.
I probably
Yeah.
inherited a little bit of that because I've been called a hippie
okay.
just recently, in fact.
But it was kind of funny because Zoe is, well, she's not a hippie. Let's just put it that way.
Well, she tried it. A lot of people did it back then, and
This place was here when I was in high school. It's a good little restaurant.
Charles Seafood.
Or it used to be Charles's, yeah.
Yeah.
My parents and I used to go there.
That's that.
We
Well,
did.
I think you've told me once that one of the reasons that you're an early riser is because that's when you would see your dad.
yeah, basically he would get up at about 5, and and sometimes I would,
Go to bed at 8.
yeah, and I would
Sounds like my dad.
be waking up, and I'd see him before he left. So he was rushing out as I was getting up often. I told you about the bubble lights, right?
No.
Okay. The bubble lights. My father got
Oh,
these
yeah.
incredible bubble lights,
She doesn't know what
You
you're
know what
talking
they
about.
are?
You'll have to explain to her what they are.
They're Christmas lights.
the
Yeah, and
Christmas
they would
lights.
they
They
would
were
like a
glass and they
percolator.
had a fluid in
They had
them.
a fluid and they'd get
Yeah.
hot, and when it got hot, they'd
They
make
would
little
make
bubbles.
Yeah.
And they
That
were
would travel
pretty.
up the.
I
Yeah,
just-
they were neat, and we all loved them. The kids loved them, but then I think my mother heard the next year that they had caused some fires, and that was basically the end of the bubble lights.
Yeah, because Greenfather is, I always called him, Greenfather loved anything gimmicky and
Yes.
kind of gadgety.
He
He
loved
liked
it.
gadgets.
Oh yeah, he loved things
I
like
love
that.
gadgets many times.
And anyway, my mom freaked out over them. That was a pretty often happened. He'd do something that we all thought was fun. And he'd build up to being a whole lot of fun, and then she'd get freaked out because there was some dangerous aspect to it.
Wow.
So there was a lot of that going on too.
Yeah.
And I was something of a naughty child,
Were you?
and I was
That's like so surprising.
I was a I didn't realize it, but I was attention deficit hyperactive. Like one time I got out on a balcony on the second floor, and on the outside of the balcony rail, and I was like 3 years old or something like that, 2 or 3.
So this must have been before you moved into the house on Patterson.
Yes, this
Correct.
was a pretty high balcony. It was second story or so, but for a 3-year-old child, that's pretty
Scary, yeah.
Well, I wasn't scared. They were all scared, running around underneath me, trying to sweet talk me off the balcony.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact
What
situation.
about
but
the riding the bicycle off the porch?
yeah, I rode my bicycle
Tell her
off
about
the
that.
porch. Yeah, but anyway, I could have gotten killed right then and there. Plus, whenever we go any place, I'd run on ahead, and then hide behind bushes, and then when they pass, I come up behind them.
I hadn't heard all of these. This one I had.
Yeah, but these, I was pretty naughty and pretty crazy and doing a lot of wacky stuff. And I kept on doing wacky stuff basically into my teenage years, except I would, what would I do? Well, I basically shut myself in my room. I got sick of fooling with my brothers and sisters and my mother and father and their friends,
So, Gail, try to appreciate with this background. When
Well,
I appeared on the scene and was invited to dinner the first time I met her older brother, Carlton,
Yeah.
he was wearing blue jeans, no shoes, no shirt, and I came over and gave him my hand to shake hands and meet him, and his response was to belch at me.
Yeah.
And that was the high point of the evening. It went down from there.
Yeah. And
And that was kind of,
yeah. And I remember at one point
as I said, they treat me as if they thought I was Leslie.
introducing Uncle Hugh as Unky
Yeah,
to Dan,
she introduced
and I didn't think this was at all strange.
She says, "Oh, I want you to meet Unky."
Yeah.
I was there. What was I supposed to say? Hi, Unky. And so I just stuck out my hand, didn't say anything. He was okay, except he was a borderline alcoholic too. Former U.S. Navy submarine captain during World War II against the Japanese. He had some great submarine stories to tell. He was also a naval attaché in Florence, and that his wife Florence they both knew a little Italian from that experience.
Oh yeah, and they had traveled a
I
lot.
think this is the right one. I hope
And
it's the right one here.
yeah, they would. What are you looking for?
Roosevelt. I think I'll get to it. It's
Oh,
okay.
okay.
I'm not lost anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just
Oh, are you driving to your mom's house?
no. Well,
Oh.
we're gonna be close to it, but
Oh.
I'm just trying to avoid the traffic.
Right.
What was I going to say now? Something about Unky? Yeah. He was actually a naval engineer.
And
Oh,
I
he was?
remember at the
Worked for
particular
Higgins, too,
moment
for a
that I introduced him, Unky was. He did not remember the introduction, Dan.
Yeah. Well,
He was sitting there practically drool hanging out of his mouth at the
he
time.
would try. His thing was that whenever you met him, he'd say, "Have you ever tried a Count Negroni?" And I had no idea. There is such a drink, and it's this Italian cocktail, and it's got like brandy and 3 or 4 different kinds of liqueurs. I mean, you're going to throw your guts up the next morning, and it's really strong.
Did he fix you one?
He fixed me a big Count Negroni,
gosh.
and that was my introduction to Hugh.
Wow.
He's gone now, and so is Florence. In fact,
Yeah.
they're all gone.
Yeah.
You want to see? You
They
want
were
to see
all
my mother's house,
characters.
Gail?
Do we have time?
Well, we're right by it.
Okay, sure.
You know?
They were all characters in my family. We all had, and we all kind of went our different ways too. Robin and Zoe were real close.
Robin
to
and
one
Zoe have
another.
always been like the Bobbsey twins. I mean, they're just.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense in that kind of household that certain people would get very close
Well,
and others,
that's why
others
it's-
would distance
That's why
themselves.
it's
Yeah.
so hard for me to get to know any of them. Is what I've been trying to explain to you.
Yeah, this is getting familiar.
This was my mother's house. This guy doesn't take care of it at all. This
Yeah,
used to be-
it's very dilapidated.
Yeah, this used to be neat as a pin. He's a slob.
Oh well. Well.
My dad planted that pecan tree right there.
Yeah, there's the pecan tree.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, it was
And
just
actually, my father
prolific too.
designed this house. This was his.
Oh, that's right. He designed it
Yeah, he did
too.
the blueprints for it all. And that little
That
house,
pecan
little
tree in
flat top
particular
house
was
across
just
the street was
so
built
prolific.
About 1955. That right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And this was
typical
a
of that
dirt.
period.
I have a picture of me and my dog, and when this was just built, this street. This was a dirt road when we moved here, and I'll
Wow.
show you the first house where I grew up, basically. You see that?
Yeah,
big
the camera is still rolling. By
You
the
see
way.
that big
Okay.
tree?
Yeah.
My father and I planted that.
Oh no kidding.
Yeah.
That big one right there.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, we went out in the woods and dug it up and brought it out.
What type of tree is it?
It's
It's an oak. It's
An
a
oak?
white oak, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, how cool is that?
And they're big. It's a big old tree now. So.
Yep, it is.
So boy, it doesn't look. They put this
No,
red
it
stucco
does
crap.
not. It's
in the front.
ugly.
Yeah, and they changed the pillars some. But I remember when that porch was built, and I don't know if they still got the garage. I think they changed it, they tore down the garage. Is it still back there? I can't tell. With that,
The sun
can't
is
see with
pretty
the
intense.
glare.
There's
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
It looks like a.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if the garage is still there. They've got that carport in front of it. Anyhow, that's the house I grew up in, Wayne, but it looked a whole lot different then.
And my younger brother, Robin, was always getting into trouble. I would do these crazy, obnoxious things, but Robin would really do things that were kind of scary. Like he'd go
How about
hunting.
the golf club?
Oh yeah, yeah. One time he was trying to hit a ball
Golf
with the
ball.
golf ball with the golf club, and he was standing behind Mike, who was using the golf club, and got hit. If you've ever noticed, there's a scar right over his left eye. That's the golf club. And basically, it scared the death out of my mom and dad.
Most people would say something else.
Yeah. And basically, he was okay 20 stitches later.
Wow.
Yeah. And he had
We're gradually
stitches
getting there, Blaine. I'm
inside.
sure you think I'm taking you around the rainbow here,
That's
but
all right.
He had
most of the people I went to
stitches
grammar
on the
school with
inside
and, the Jesuit
and then
lived
stitches on the
right over there.
outside. They did that back then.
It was called grammar school, not elementary school.
They wouldn't take the inside stitches out, but they would remove the outside stitches. The inside stitches would just get absorbed.
There's a standard poodle there. It's not a bad looking dog. If you're into poodles. You didn't tell them about Colette.
Oh yeah, we had dogs and cats through all of this too.
That was my
Yeah.
other big
Yeah.
impression of the house. When I first knew Leslie,
Smelled like dogs.
well, not just that. There were a minimum of 10 animals in the house every time I'd visit,
Wow.
and usually some strange people, and usually everybody was drunk when I'd get there or close to
Not
it.
me.
Not Leslie, but it was, and Zoe was the cheerleader in the midst of all this. That's what when I met
Cheerleader?
Zoe, she was a cheerleader,
Oh, you mean Oh, okay. Like an
Mom
actual,
bombs.
Yeah.
an actual
an
cheerleader.
actual cheerleader.
Okay.
Yeah. After we got married, he came over and visited us a couple of times, but he just kind of show up. Robin wasn't the kind of person that you could say, come on over for dinner. It wasn't that kind of thing, but every now and then there'd be a knock on the door, especially when we lived on Broadway. And remember this, put this in context, Gail, we got married in 1968, which is usually considered the most heated up year of the 1960s, which as a decade was very different from what you're living through now. It was the worst year in Vietnam. It was the year that Hubert Humphrey was defeated for the presidency and Richard Nixon was elected, which brought in a whole bunch, and he was elected saying that he would end the war in 6 months, and we were in the war for another 7 years. Okay, so there was just a lot of stuff that went on, and of course it was the year of, there were all sorts of riots and protests, Vietnam protests all the time.
Yeah, I think they made it. When was the Watts riot?
I think those were also, that was.
It was 68.
Yeah, that was with the death of Martin Luther King. Yeah, that was that summer. That was that was just before we got married. So it was a very tense time, and during this time there was a lot of social role changing and role playing on it. People were for example, there was a term called the weekend hippie, just like today you have the term soccer mom and so forth. It was a recognizable social niche. There were people who had a 3-piece suit and worked for whatever. IBM or whatever, and had their hair trimmed nicely, but on weekends they put on a headband and some John Lennon type glasses, smoke a little weed,
put jeans on,
listen to Jefferson Airplane, and they were called weekend hippies. That was a term that everybody knew, weekend hippie.
Interesting.
And it wasn't considered bad because it was a way of coping with the man, straight society, and also
but you weren't changing society at all by doing that.
So there was a lot of hypocrisy, but also there were good things that came out of it. For example, the biggest beneficiary or inheritor, if you like, of the 60s movement and philosophy were universities.